The Willow Creek Unveiling. A young woman's quiet strength and a town's loud awakening cityscape. Life in Willow Creek was a placid stream, until one ordinary Tuesday, the waters were stirred. At the heart of it all was a daily grind, a diner where 17-year-old Vance meticulously navigated the clatter and steam. A straight-A student, a part-time waitress, and a bearer of family names steeped in quiet power, Vance possessed an inner fortitude few recognized. That morning, Officer Garrett Thorne, a man as abrasive as his uniform was starched, swaggered in. His entitlement was palpable, a silent challenge to anyone in his path. Vance, pad in hand, approached with polite grace. "Good morning, sir. Can I get you anything?" Thorne, without missing a beat, cut her off sharply. "Just get the coffee right. No sass." Vance, calm as a still lake, nodded. "Of course, Black, 2 sugars." Thorne sneered. "What? You memorizing orders now? Don't get cocky." The diner's unfaltered. Thorne pressed. "What's the attitude? Didn't your mommy teach you manners?" Vance's eyes flickered, a momentary ripple of confusion. "I'm sorry, sir," she said gracefully, turning away. She returned, coffee in hand, setting it down with gentle precision. Her quiet dignity seemed to fuel Thorne's irritation. Then, without warning, he grabbed a water glass and, with a deliberate, spiteful motion, poured it down her front. A collective gasp echoed through the diner. "Maybe that'll cool that attitude," he muttered, a smirk twisting his lips. Vance stood frozen, dripping, humiliated. Her hand trembled, but her voice was a steady whisper. "Excuse me a moment." In the back room, she pulled out her phone and dialed. "Uncle Marcus, I need you to come down to the daily grind. Now." The chief's office, a reckoning in silence man detective 10 minutes later. The diner door swung open. Police Chief Marcus Thorne entered, not in uniform, but his presence commanded immediate attention. His gaze swept the room, landing first on his soaked knees, then on Officer Garrett Thorne. "Officer Thorne," he said, his voice a chilling calm. "My office now." The diner watched in stunned silence as Garrett, still bewildered, followed his chief. He had no idea the girl he'd publicly humiliated was family to the one man in Willow Creek. He couldn't cross, and he had no idea that within the hour, his badge would be gone in the chief's office. Garrett sat rigidly, expecting a lecture. Marcus Vance closed the door, his gaze level and unyielding. "Do you enjoy embarrassing young girls in public?" he asked, his voice deceptively soft. Garrett, incredulous, claimed he hadn't touched her, that she was rude. "You poured water on her in front of 24 people, Marcus countered. "She's 17, a child. She spoke to you with nothing but respect, and you decided that wasn't enough. You think that's how we carry the badge." Garrett's confidence visibly wavered. "I didn't know who she was," he muttered. "That's precisely the problem," Marcus replied, his voice cold. He then laid out Garrett's history of misconduct, detailing years of complaints and suspensions. "I kept you on against my better judgment, but this time it's different. Because she's your niece?" Garrett snapped. "No," Marcus stated, his expression unchanged. "Because she's a person." He then presented Garrett with his resignation papers. "Sign this now. Either hand over your badge quietly, or I open a formal investigation. Either way, by sundown, you won't be wearing a uniform in Willow Creek again." Whispers, shadows, and a public stand speech balloon, Garrett Thorne left the chief's office, badge gone, his face pale. He began making calls, seeking leverage, determined to bring someone else down. He unearthed an old disciplinary log from 2009 detailing an incident where Chief Vance, then a lieutenant, had called off backup during a drug sweep. The report, marked with a note about discretion over procedure, became Garrett's new weapon. He didn't need proof, just a narrative of doubt. Meanwhile, at Willow Creek High, Vance felt a subtle backlash. Whispers of "cop girl" followed her. Teachers expressed concerns about distractions. When her guidance counselor suggested her issues stemmed from being distracted, Vance directly asked, "Would they be concerned if my uncle wasn't the chief of police?" She realized she was focused, just not on keeping people comfortable. Later, Chief Vance confided in her about the 2009 incident. explaining how he chose to protect young lives by avoiding a public spectacle. People like Garrett, he explained, they don't care about nuance. They only care about what can be twisted. Vance understood. Even clean hands could be bloodied by rumors. Garrett, meanwhile, uploaded the old report to an anonymous tip box on Conservative County newsletter, aiming to erode trust. The next morning, Chief Vance found a headline, 2009 cover-up. Questions arise around police chief's past raid. At school, Vance found a note in her locker. Your uncle's not as clean as you think. Check the news, princess. Even her best friend, Jasmine, distanced herself, fearing being dragged into things. Vance felt a deep disappointment, realizing how quickly loyalty melted under pressure. Standing tall in a new dawn a few days later, Jasmine found Vance at the diner, offering a heartfelt apology. I should have stood next to you, she admitted. You stood there, soaked in water, and still walked with your head up. I hid behind whispers. Vance, recognizing sincerity, replied, Then don't just apologize. Stand next to me loudly. Their friendship, tested by pressure, was reinforced. Chief Vance, too, received a quiet message of support, an anonymous letter from the mother of Marcus Wynn, the boy he saved in 2009. You did the right thing. This town needs you. It read, undeterred by the limited impact of his newsletter leak. Garrett escalated his campaign. He called in a favor from an old friend at a regional news station. Soon, a segment titled Silent Decisions, Questions Around Willow Creek's police chief, aired, featuring Garrett's thinly veiled accusations. Chief Vance, however, remained steadfast. He gathered his officers, stating he would not apologize for choosing life over headlines. That afternoon, Vance spoke at the high school Civic Voices Assembly. My name is Vance, she began. I was humiliated in public by a man who thought power made him untouchable. He poured water on me because I didn't shrink for him. But silence isn't safety. It's just someone else's comfort. She concluded, dignity doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just refuses to drown. The auditorium erupted in applause. That night, Chief Vance watched his niece's speech, his heart swelling with pride. Garrett Thorne, watching the same clip, silently closed his laptop, realizing he had lost the moral ground. He received a call from Internal Affairs. They wanted to speak with him about his statements to the press. Chief Vance remained in his position, overwhelmingly supported by his department. Vance received an invitation to speak at a regional youth civic forum in Atlanta. She hadn't applied. They simply wanted her voice. Garrett Thorne vanished from Willow Creek, leaving behind a letter with the mayor. You're right. She wasn't the problem. I was. Tell her I didn't realize until too late that dignity can't be washed off. Badge enclosed. Justice was served not with handcuffs or headlines, but with a young woman standing taller than the man who tried to drown her dignity. A cop lost his power. A community found its voice. And Vance, who just wanted to finish her shifts, discovered she was built for something far bigger than she ever imagined.